Adam Christ from MyMMANews.com being joined by Serena, the Southpaw Outlaw DeJesus, as I like to call her, Renzilla. She just defeated Brittany Cloudy at Invicta 47, and she was on fire, yelling in the cage. She was going wild, and she is on a road trip now with PFL's Olena. There she is right there. What's going on, Olena? And they are making their way back from California right now. Olena's a little bit upset with Serena, but we'll get into that later. Serena, congratulations, and how are you?
I'm good, minus Olena being upset at me. But I'm feeling good. I feel relatively fine. As you can see, this glorious face has pretty much no marks. Got a little bit of a purple thing up here matching my birthmark, but that's okay. Other than that, I feel peachy.
You look like you're having a wonderful time on the road, and like I said, can you just detail what before we get into the fight itself? Like I said, you're on a road trip. You're on your way back from Cali. What happened in Cali? How did you guys celebrate?
So, Olena surprised me. He's like, "Oh, we're going to Universal Studios." I'm like, "Where? What?" I've never been to Universal Studios. I've always wanted to go to Universal Studios. My mom and my siblings did for a school trip, and I was kind of upset, but we really did need the entire day to finish the park. Like there was like one or two attractions we didn't do, but like we were there from opening to close, and our feet are feeling it. And then earlier today, we went on a studio tour of Warner Brothers, and it was awesome. Except I'm a little mad at Warner Brothers for their false advertising. You don't flash Godzilla up on the screen before we do the tour, and there's nothing Godzilla related anywhere. That made me upset. I don't want to see Friends. I want to see Godzilla.
I completely understand. Renzilla wants to see her Godzilla. I get it. So again, last thing I'm going to touch on before we get into the fight itself, I just wanted to touch on that beautiful piece that Mike Heck from MMA Fighting did about Olena and you helping her escaping Ukraine in the midst of the war breaking out. She secured her win. Obviously, you followed suit. You secured your win. I just want you to touch on this past year, helping your dear friend. I know you guys were you were in the process of switching gyms as you and I talked at High Rollers, fight camps on top of the fights themselves, and now you kind of get to sit back, look hindsight, and can you, like, as we're today talking, can you put into words the, I don't know, joy, sense of relief, or can you overall just encapsulate how you're feeling after a packed year?
It's one of those things where it's like, this isn't what I wanted, but it's what I needed. Is really how I can sum everything from my transitioning from my old gym to Extreme Couture and Legend MMA. It's been beneficial for me. The biggest lesson I learned is you have to be loyal to people who are loyal to you. You can't be loyal to the idea of a team itself. It's sometimes a team is a team only in name only, or a team when you're doing something for them. And it's a hard lesson that people don't do because, especially for people like myself, I'm good for the sake of being good. But people take advantage of that and all that. But it's nice to be around people who want to do right by others because they're also good people as well. So I got that with my people at Couture's. I got that with my team over at Legend MMA. I got that with obviously my buddy over here, Olena. Like we kept in contact during everything that was happening after she went home and everything. And obviously when the war in Ukraine started, I was freaking the fuck out trying to make sure she was safe. And here we are, kicking ass together.
Coming back from a nice little trip to Cali. But so before I make with my questions, as obviously I have plenty for you, you said yourself, quote unquote, you have some wild stories from fight night to share. Now, so without further ado, I mean, I can speculate, I can ask, well, with this, that, but you know what? Nobody's going to, I can't say it better than you. So those wild stories, let's have them.
So we got into a fighter hotel. Thankfully, the COVID bubble wasn't like keeping us inside no more. But like, there were fighters who used their bedding to like beat burritos and stuff, and then some rooms had water issues. But I was more in shock that people were leaving the hotel over the bedding thing. And then fight night was wild because this motherfucker somehow stuck in the corner. So
I'm a gangster. I told you. I'm a gangster. I'm from Githa.
That. Anyways, so I was warming up with Marv and getting ready for my fight because it was the third fight. I'm like hustling, trying to get ready. And before that, I'm talking to Mike Jackson because I felt, even though it's my opponent's corner, I'm like, oh, Mike Jackson, I'm sorry you got poked in the eyes like you did, and then kicked in the nuts by a dude whose nickname's the Sniper, which didn't make sense. He kind of was like, thanks, I don't understand that, etc. But then, warming up for my fight, back to that. And then this one comes downstairs somehow, is not stopped. And then she gets my athlete pass that I had, so she's stuck with me. I'm thinking, this is okay. Because my fight with Mueller, I had to borrow, I think it was Brogan Sanchez's quarterman to hold the banner with Marv, because Marv couldn't hold the banner by himself. So I'm thinking, Olena's just going to do that, give me a hug, hold the banner, and then just, go back and support my mom. Make sure she's not having a heart attack and about to go hit some bra with a folding chair, because this G-shit's genetic. My family's a little nuts. Anyways, she doesn't leave the corner. And I'm in the cage. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to let this happen. We're going to let this happen. And everything was great. And then first round, I kind of was a little too calm in it, and I kind of let her set the pace when I shouldn't have. So this one starts losing her fucking mind in the cage, on the outside. It's like, what the fuck is that? Show me how you fight. Show me more time. I'm like, all right, bet. Especially because Brittany was trying, stun it on me a little bit. It's like, I got to clinch. I thought she got me in the back of that. In fact, I still kind of feel it back here. But when I watched the video, she did play it right. It just enough where it was legal. But between being stunned on me, feeling like it hit me in the back of the head, I was kind of mad. That and Mike Jackson's a bit of a dick. So after I talked nicely and saying I feel bad for him, this motherfucker in the opening seconds of the first round was like, she can't see Brittany. She has glasses. That's why you hear me say, man, fuck you. Not to Brittany, because Brittany's great. But Mike Jackson, seriously, fuck you. I know I'm blind. What are you going to do about it? You had that PRK money, hand it my way.
So all of that's going on while you're trying to fight. Talk about your emotions when you have, obviously your friend who's coming in the corner. Are you nervous that she might get kicked out? I mean, it's obviously a little bit of extra credit her being in your corner. You have somebody who's shit talking you in the middle of the first round.
It was all that. As soon as I got in the cage, I knew it was go time. Because here's the thing: what was the difference between my opponent and 12 hyenas, Adam? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. You know why? Because once you're in there, it's you or them. And you know what? If I gotta fight for my life or fight for anything, I'm gonna put it all out there. I'm tired of holding shit back. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say stuff. You know what? But at least it's raw, honest emotion. And because I came out a little angry in my second round, as guys, left hand is always getting the job done. So it all worked. I think I stunned her for a little bit. She didn't anticipate the power. So you could see it on the replay in her face. She's like, because I was mad. Also, she kind of fucked up that when I found out she was a therapist, because all the therapists who let me down as a kid, now I got to take out some rage. So it's just like, yeah, score one for me.
Was that
I've done what 7-year-old want to do to a therapist? Right there. So 30-year-old me just made 7-year-old me a happy person.
Was that literally was a thought that entered your thought process, was her being a therapist and a little bit of the anxieties and anger coming out, pent-up aggression, if you will.
Just a little bit. I was already annoyed at her. Well,
obviously.
What I thought at first was an illegal elbow. I thought it was, because I still feel it a little bit. But like I said, I saw the footage. I saw was really, motherfucker, back here. That's why you saw my point. I'm like, really, motherfucker, right there. So I think that caught her off guard. But then, of course, I just want to do that. A, for the profound shooting therapist. B, obviously now I'm not really a Mike Jackson fan anymore. So and then strike three. She tried to stun me in my clinch. That's my shit. You better get a girl from Thailand to beat me in a clinch, because that's the only way it's going to happen. So that all came out in rounds 2 and 3. It's just like, all right, I'm going to show you Muay Thai. I'm making this one happy by showing her my hands a little bit, because like, fight her like you fight me. And I'm like, right, okay, I can do that. And that's why I just went all out.
And the third round, you definitely, it seemed like you wanted to put a stamp on. You came out a lot more aggressive and you were a lot more active. Could you tell that she was, I don't want to say fading, but fading necessary. I mean, you were putting it on her.
Oh, I saw it. I saw how she walked back to her corner at the end of the second round. That's why you saw me smile. It's like, I got your ass now.
Mm.
It's like, I got your ass. So I knew if I kept putting out a high output, but I didn't want to be too out of control. I wanted to kind of move my head and see where she was going. And as soon as I saw that her punches really didn't have any steam to them is when I started to flurry her and put her on the cage. Because like I said, like, she wanted to fight in the third round, which was great. I actually think I pissed her off by round 3, which is actually an accomplishment in itself because apparently she prides herself on being the quiet storm by playing poker. But I was bringing out aggression out of her, so that means I did my job. You know, I'm going to get under your skin no matter what. You know, be it my just infectious smile or me being an asshole, one way I'm going to get under your skin. So that started happening. I'm like, all right, bet. And then I wish I was a little bit faster, but I saw it got her in the liver too. My liver punches within the clinch. I utilize a lot. I started utilizing my dirty boxing more with my elbows because like if you avoid one thing, I guarantee you I'm gonna get you something else in that. So she started fading. I'm like, I just want to leave him. I want to leave, a lasting impression. Started elbowing her out of nowhere and punching her. Like I said earlier to these people in Invicta, I want respect put on my name. This is a 4-fight win streak now. That's a lot in the bantamweight division. Be it Invicta or UFC, having a 4-fight win streak is pretty impressive. So I called for my belt. I fought 10 at 3 years ago. I saw what she was last year. She hasn't changed. Well, I have changed. Even when 3 years ago, I had a close fight with her. Imagine what the hell I'll do now. But then imagine how I feel when I find out the belt shot. This is obviously must have been planned in advance, so I'm not dissing anybody. But I'm going to say my heart's broken that there is a Bellator featherweight coming down to bantamweight who is 1-2 fighting Tanisha Tennant for the bantamweight belt. So my $1 million question is this: A, how did that happen? B, does Invicta have a plan in place for if this girl cannot successfully make the bantamweight title champion limit? Like, I've made weight plenty of times. Like, I don't get paid to make 135 on the dot. They pay me to make 135 on the dot and give me a shot at that belt. I make things happen. I make weight. I didn't cut my hair to make weight. I'm a professional.
I was actually gonna ask, was there any talks after the fight about that? But I mean, I guess you answered the question. But I guess following on top of that, like you said, 4-fight win streak. That's impressive no matter what promotion you're fighting for. So you didn't just call for your title shot, you demanded it. With this chick coming down and fighting for the title, would you want the winner? Obviously.
What?
I said,
Sorry,
would you want that winner? Would you expect the winner? Let's say that.
They better give me the winner, obviously. I mean, it would make the most sense business-wise. Like, I am a company woman.
Mhm.
I put butts in seats. I always have put butts in seats for Invicta. I bring views. Like, I want to work with Invicta. Let's help each other out. You give me good quality fights. You give me the things I want. I put asses in seats. You make money. Everybody goes home happy, right?
And
that's all it is.
Not to mention, I mean, aside from the fact that we're buddies, but you do talk on the mic. You give you a microphone, you give you a chance to talk. You're not going to be all humble and shy. You're going to have something to say. So, I mean, that alone speaks for itself as far as 4 fights and 4-fight win streak. Not shy on the mic. That's just a package right there, in my personal opinion.
One-liners, man. It's like you're like dealing liners.
So, with everything seeming to fall in place the way it is, when I know you said you don't have a mark on your face, so when do you feasibly want to get back in the cage, and what do you expect to be next?
I wouldn't mind August, and the summer, right? I mean, I've been in camp because I thought I was going to fight in January. That didn't happen. Thought I was going to fight didn't happen. And then for whatever reason, other promotions didn't want me to fight, or I need to figure out what's going on the upper management side of things. But I wanted to fight a lot more often than I have this year. But if I can get one or two more good fights this year, like late summer, early fall, hell, I'll even fight winter too to make this all work, I'd be a happy girl.
I love it. Well, Serena, I thank you so much for taking the time as far as talking about the fight. Congratulations on your 4-fight win streak. You are doing it big, and
Thank you.
you deserve nothing but the best, and I hope nothing but the best for you and your homegirl, who it was a pleasure to meet, Olena. I hope you guys have an excellent drive back to Las Vegas, and again, thank you for your time.
Of course.